What's going on YouTube? H-Dub here, and we playing Raid. And today we're going to be talking about some more accessible champs, some rare champions, and some common and uncommon champions that you can use to progress your faction wars. Some of these champions will also double for you and be used in other areas of the game, like Doom Tower secret rooms and wherever else you need them, because some of them have some really cool abilities. But today we're going to be talking about the Sacred Order rares that you can use. Now I believe Sacred Order is open. I think I checked. Yeah, Sacred Order and Demon Spawn is open today. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at some Sacred Order rares that I feel like greatly contribute in the faction if you need someone to fill that role. Now I've already comprised a spreadsheet and everyone has access to this spreadsheet. I linked it in the last video that I did about accessible champions that you should be, investing in if you're free to play, if you're light spent, if you don't get a lot of shards, you haven't progressed your clan boss yet, and you just need some champions to help you progress and get some stars in faction wars so you can be that much closer to Lydia. But here is that spreadsheet. I'll put a link to it again down below, but this is the spreadsheet, guys, and I am almost done with it. It is pretty much done. But here it is for the most part. All of the champs are here separate by their role. So whether they are support or they provide damage for you, whatever role you need them to do in each faction. Also on the second sheet, we have each faction and which boss you're going to be facing on stage 7, 14, and 21. In a few days, all of this will be filled out. But right now, I've got it filled out for a few of the factions, that have come up since I started making this spreadsheet. I've also got all of the boss's skills down here so that you know what the boss does that you're going to be facing and what champions you might want to bring in. And the gear that you might want to bring in. But we're going to be taking a look at Sacred Order. So we've got Draconics, we've got Templar, we've got Witness, we've got what's his name? Castigator, Hospitaller, Lamellar, or Lamellar, however you want to pronounce it. We've got that guy. These are support role people who you can bring in. We've also got Ethel, we've got Harrier, we've got Armager in there if you need some damage. Now, obviously, Harrier, you need to use him with Hospitaller to get the most out of him. But let's briefly go through these guys' kits and see, why I'm making this recommendation to you all, just so you won't think like, oh, what is H-Dub talking about? He's just picking some random red. No, man. I read through these kits, and some of these guys are really going to help you get across that finish line. So let's go ahead and just take a look at our boy Draconics. He's first on the list. He's a Void champion, obviously. But off the top of my head, he's only at the top because I know that this guy is used in multiple areas of the game. He is very much used in the rare HP room for the secret rooms and Doom Tower. So if you're trying to, interested in getting Ramon 2, if you want to complete that secret room on that rotation of Doom Tower, then yeah, you're gonna want to invest in a Draconics because he's gonna, heal on his A1, heal the ally with the lowest HP by 7.5% of the damage inflicted, which also helps you a ton in faction wars because this guy, you can just put him in relentless, spam his A1 and just keep healing everyone, right? Whoever is the lowest at that time is going to get some heals based on the damage he does. He also places a shield on everyone. This is on a 3-turn cooldown, and the best part about it is it's based on his max HP. We know that he is an HP based champion, so if you build him to do some damage, right, or what have you, to get the most out of that heal with a lot of HP because it's HP based, then that shield is going to be fat as well. And it's on a 3-turn cooldown. So you build him fast or you build him in relentless, however you want to build him, right? He's going to be protecting you. He's going to be healing you. On the A3, attacks one enemy, removes all debuffs from the ally with the lowest HP, then heals them by 25% of the damage inflicted. This is on a 4-turn cooldown book. So this guy is bringing in some heals. He's bringing in some shields. He's bringing in some survivability. Now, next on the list is going to be Templar, who's another champion that is used in multiple places in the game. Now, you can use him in Doom Tower again. You can use him in Faction Wars again. Now, this guy was actually used in Bommel, right? So he was used to solo Bommel. Actually, the first time that I tried the solo Bommel, I tried with this guy I didn't have a Samar at the time. I do have Samar now, so I'm no longer using Templar. It was a rough go, but it was possible. People were making it happen, and you can make it happen as well. But on the A1, attacks one enemy has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed for 2 turns. And obviously damage inflicted is proportional to defense. He is defense based. On the A2, attacks 4 times at random. Each hit has a 25% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. Places block damage on himself though. So he's going to provoke and place block damage. This is on a 3-turn cooldown. So if you build him fast enough, you got him healing or whatever you want to do. Put him in relentless, put him in immortal, high HP, whatever, to sustain. He can provoke. The chance is not amazing, but you can book it up to a 50% chance, which is really strong, right? So a really strong 50% chance for a rare is solid, and he's placing block damage on himself. So he's got some survivability for himself built in with that provoke. And his passive attacks with this champion's default skill whenever an enemy places a debuff on him. So if somebody plays a debuff, he's going to hit him and try to put up that decreased speed, which is a 50% chance booked as well, right? He has a increased res and arena aura, but I wouldn't recommend using him in arena unless you just don't have any options. And maybe you're in like bronze or silver. You're trying to push up. This guy can come in and do some CC. But for the most part, you don't want to be using him in arena. Like his base stats aren't amazing. You know, 15k HP is decent. 1k defense, decent. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing by far, but this guy brings a lot to the table with that provoke, and he's used in multiple areas of the game. Next on the list, though, is going to be our girl Witness, another support champion. A1 has an extra chance to place an extra hit. Not what we need her for, though. A2 plays increased defense on the ally with the lowest HP for 3 turns. And what we're really here for is this A3, right? So she's going to place block debuffs on somebody, but she's also going to place a shield on everyone. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. So say you don't have, you know, Draconics, who is a void champion, right? You can use Witness, who's going to come in and give you a shield as well, right? She's going to place a little shield on you, right? And it's based on her max HP. So you can build her with some decent HP. Her base HP isn't amazing, but it's okay. You can build her with some nice HP, get a shield up on your team for 4 turns, and give you a little more survivability. Next on the list, though, is going to be our boy Castigator. All right. Now, in his A1, has a chance to place a provoke. Right, you can book this up to a 40% chance. Not bad on the A1. Get him taking some turns. Get him going fast, whether you're relentless or whatever. Right, get him taking turns though. He has decent base HP for sure at 18.9k. They should have just made that 19k, but decent chance to provoke, right? And that's on the A1. So spam is A1, provoke, control the waves, right? On the A2, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 20% of his max HP. And he has nice base HP, so you can build him with pretty high HP. And then he's going to equalize the HP level of all allies, and then he's going to take an extra turn. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. He's going to take that extra turn after he's done healing and go back in and try to provoke somebody again. So I think he has a solid kit for sure. If you want to control, you need some sustain, you need somebody to heal, right? And he also receives 15% less damage from enemies under provoke. So he's going to provoke somebody, they're going to attack him. They're not really going to do a ton of damage because of his passive is going to mitigate that damage by 15%. So I think he has a solid kit if you are trying to just get some faction wars progression going. And he even can be used for you, you know, in the team that you build in the long run. Like obviously over time, as you get more champions in Sacred Order, you're not going to need him. But in the meantime, you know, or in, you know, if you know, you are at 21, but you want a better team or what have you, or you haven't 3-starred it, like this guy's bringing a ton of heals in, and he's equalizing HP. But let's go on and move to the next champion, which is Hospitaller, which is somebody who you're absolutely not going to use unless you have Harrier. Her kit is very lackluster, guys. She has an AoE here. This is one champion I did not check the multipliers on because she's support based, so I don't know what type of damage she could be doing, right? You could put her in a stun set, but this is on a 4-turn cooldown. Not the best option for a stun set. And like, she's gonna give you increased speed, increased crit rate on a 3-turn cooldown. Now, increased speed is great, but I feel like the rest of her kit is not good enough to use unless you're bringing in Harrier to do serious single target damage, right? Her passive is gonna, revive a random ally, though. When Harrier kills an enemy, and trust me, he can kill people. He can knock stuff down, guys. He is solid for sure. And they're also going to get a block damage, but you need to have Harrier on the team to use her. Otherwise, I would not recommend using her, but I think together they pair pretty well for Faction Wars progression. Granted, single target damage is not ideal, but this dude can smack, bro. He can actually smack, bro. I intend to build one. I have a blessing for one. It's not a great blessing, but I have begun to build one. I have begun to build a Hospitaller as well, who I also have a blessing for. An awakening rather. So look out for that at some point once I, set aside the resources, because resources be tough to get, guys. But let's go ahead and look at the last support champion that I've chosen, and that is our boy Lameller. On the A1, attacks one enemy, has a 10% chance of placing the baby decreased defense. That's not why we're using him, though. And you could book that up to 25%, but that's not why we're using him. This is why we're using him. 3-turn cooldown. He's going to place the small decrease attack, right? It's an AoE. You can put him in a stun set. This is a 3-turn, ability. Put him in a stun set, potentially stun, and place this decrease attack. Decrease attack is going to give you a ton more survivability, especially if, majority of those guys on the other side are attack based, or they're damage based on attack. Decrease attack is, a very strong, very unappreciated debuff, right? I feel like decrease attack doesn't get that much love, right? Unless you're doing like Hydra or if you're not using an unkillable clan boss team, you might want decrease attack for sure. But otherwise, people not even stun decrease attack. Ain't nobody worried about decrease attack. But if you're making Faction Wars progression, and you're in the early game, you're in the mid game, bring in decrease attack. It's going to help you on the balls. It's going to help you on the waves a ton. Let's get on his passive, though. Decrease the damage taken by this champion by 30% when the HP drops below 30%. So, yeah, just some more damage mitigation. If you got him in there with, Castigator or whatever, the Castigator is going to heal him anyway, maybe provoke the other guys, take this guy, off of their target range or what have you, and then heal him back up, equalize the HP, get him back to full health, whatever you need to do, right? But those are the support champions I've chosen. Now for damage champions, I've only chosen 3. Some of the rest of them I felt like weren't that great. They are options. Of course, everyone has their role, but Aethel, obviously, first choice. She is a starter champion. I think she has an amazing kit. Feel like I don't have to go over her kit too much, but it's actually a great kit, guys. Especially if you need some help in Faction Wars. She's also going to be used for you in Doom Tower if you want, in the rare attack room, right? I think there might also be a rare magic room, but I could be very wrong right now. But I know 100% there's a rare attack room. Obviously, 3-hit A1, strong ability, also has a chance to place a weaken right on the last hit. AoE, this is a standard starter, ability with the 15% chance to inflict the critical hit. And she's going to give increased attack to herself. And if she's like, low on HP, she's going to give increased defense to herself. Give her some survivability, take that extra turn, and then come into the smack. So she gives herself increased attack and then comes in the smack. That is huge, right? And then 3-hit A1 is like, you could lay somebody down with this. So she's got decent kit for sure for, damage. But I really like Harrier, even though he's single target and people be wanting to do stuff fast. That's why single target damage dealers get a bad rap, because it's like, yeah, we know that a reviver could come in and just revive people, but come on, man, kill the reviver first and then you're good to go. But attacks one enemy, 15% chance of placing an extra hit, so chance to hit them twice on the A1, right? The A2 attacks one enemy 2 times as well. right? And each hit has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased defense. This is on a 3-turn cooldown. We don't really care about the decreased defense, right? A3 attacks one enemy, has an extra 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. So this is the ability that smacks. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, right? And like, you only need 70% crit rate for the nuke. Obviously, you want 100% though, so you can, you know, be critted out on these and be smacking them. And his passive, my God, will ignore 50% of the target's defense when he inflicts a critical hit. And it's only available if you got Hospitaller, which is why I was saying, you know, you may or may not use this guy. So situational. Like, if he didn't need her to do this, he would be an amazing rare single target damage dealer, right? Because ignoring 50% of the target's defense is huge, right? You get masteries on him, you get Helm Smasher on him, right? That procs, you don't even need Savage Gear. At that point, you just need to build him with as much damage as possible with whatever you can throw on him. You might even want to throw him in Relentless or something like that. You don't need Savage, you don't need Lethal, you don't need Instinct at that point, right? Because you're already getting so much, right? To where at that point you just need to be building him to do more damage. But I think he has a solid kit. I do want to test him out, so I am actually leveling one up. I have one of him and one of Hospitaller. Like I said before, I've got blessings for them already. So Armager is going to be our last damage option, right? And he is an uncommon. We got some uncommons and some commons in here, guys, you know, sprinkled throughout in some of these factions. Not all of them, because some of them are kind of lackluster. But in some of these factions, like what I mentioned about Bannerlords did have some support champs that were uncommon that were great, right? One of them had like a 2-turn cooldown on a chance to stun or something crazy like that. But Armager, obviously on the A1, he's going to be decreasing turn meter if he inflicts a critical hit, and you're going to be building him to do some damage, so he's going to be crit capped. A2 is a block revive, and it's enemy max HP and defense base, so if you smack the boss with this, it's going to do some damage. He's great against bosses because he can go ahead and decrease turn meter on the A1, and then he can go ahead and smack the boss for you on the A2, and this A2 is on a 2-turn cooldown book. So the sky's the limit with this guy, especially in the Sacred Order faction wars. Like, you can use him in Spider, you can use this guy wherever you need. This guy is very versatile. I see people using him in all sorts of comps, so definitely take advantage of Armager. You don't even got to pull him from a shard. You can buy him from the market. There might even be an Armager in the market right now if we go to the market. Who knows? I already bought everything from the market. But there's no Armager here. But you get the point. There could be an Armager here, guys. So check your market. Get you a copy of Armager if you haven't already and you're trying to make some progression. He's going to be very useful for you. But those are my accessible champs for the Sacred Order faction, guys. The supports and the damage dealers. We're going to go through the rest of these in another video. And I'm going to break it down, you know, my opinion. Just give my 2 cents on why I made this list. But if you're trying to make progression, if you're trying to make faction wars progression, you're trying to make some secret room progression, there's a lot of champs here that can help you out, guys. So take a look at the list. I've spent a lot of time putting this together. Hopefully it helps someone. If it only helps one person, you know, that's enough for me. So until next time, guys, thank you for watching always. Thank you for your support. You guys are amazing. Be good and be well.